Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. I will say this, San Francisco lost, Baltimore Rams 0-2. It is a long season. I will
Bengals
say this.
0-2.
Yeah, I'm going to circle back, though, of all those teams. Big picture, let's wrap it up with this. Big picture. Of all the teams that are scrapping, I like Cincinnati. First of all, T. Higgins is coming back. They just lost a game they could have won against Kansas City. That's a pretty damn good loss. Joe Burrow's fantastic. Burton will become more of a player. You know, he's just a young receiver. You got guys like him over a 4 or 5 game stretch can become a different player. I think Baltimore's O-line's a mess. I think the Rams' O-line's a mess. Those are real concerns. I look at Cincinnati. John, if they reeled off 8 straight wins, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, they beat every team in the league beside the Chiefs today, right?
Yep.
I mean, so that version of the game is a 12-13 win team. So I'm with you. I just, the Burrow injury is always in the back of your head. Can he stay healthy? They do, Jamar Chase, you have to wonder if his outburst is a lot going on with his contract. Now he says, I'm good for the season. They just got a lot going on.
Yes.
T. Higgins is having to answer questions like, is he faking an injury because he's pissed off at the contract? This is a spot that if you told me like Tomlin, John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh was handling the guys, like he could handle it. You see Zach trying to get Jamar Chase, younger guy, even though he's now been a head coach for a while. It's a tough position. It's not easy. But I'm with you. I mean, they're just, when Joe's right, they're really good. The one team that I'm concerned of that I liked as a playoff team was our guy Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen in Indy. Their quarterback to lose. I loved the Colts because I was like, Malik Willis. And then Malik Willis looked better than Anthony Richardson, Bo Nix or the rookie quarterback, and he was bad. Anthony Richardson, what was that?
Well, and it concerns you because Steichen had Herbert as a rookie. Herbert set NFL rookie records. He made Jalen Hurts an MVP level player. This is the best offense. He made Gardner Minshew last year. I mean, Minshew had those guys on the doorstep. This Richardson thing, it's like he may be a remarkable player, but staffs matter. I mean, Malik Willis in the first half with LaFleur and that culture looked better than he ever did in Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee gave up on that guy after about 2 games.
Yeah.
He looked like,
he looked good. I gave guy credit. He was good.
So now Shane Steichen's had an entire offseason with Anthony Richardson. That was a mess. He looked lost.
I do think what's scary is I think if you look at every, the highest level of sports, right? Just because you throw 102 miles an hour, you could have the best pitching coach. He might not teach you how to throw strikes.
Right.
You could be, the most talented guy in the NBA, and you could get Chip England, the shooting coach, and he just can't help you out to make, open shots. I do think in football, for every Josh Allen and guys that are able to improve their accuracy, historically speaking, there are way more examples of guys that are just all over the map. And right now, whether it's like we talked about Sam Darnold, it was way too sped up early on in his career. Had to spoil. You watch him, he is kind of set at times, and the ball just flies. I mean, like he has no clue where it's going. You're like, oh, I don't know what you can do as a coach to fix that level of misses.
Well, think about this. Malik Willis as a spot starter, they had a 40-minute to 19-minute time of possession advantage. With Shane Steichen, I mean,
well, because when you're that inaccurate, you're gonna give up plays. You're not gonna roll any time.
Okay, so just look at the accuracy of Herbert as a rookie and Hurts as a young player. And we don't think the Packers defense is great. Shit, Philadelphia ran up and down.
Oh, they look terrible.
He threw the ball 34 times. He completed 50%. He had 3 picks, and he looked lost. So this is one of those things where Steichen has made he's taken every quarterback he's had, and now I think Herbert will become what he was with him. He's made everybody better. He had an off season. Like I watched that today, and I'm like, Malik Willis is better than Anthony Richardson, at least.
Yeah, in all interceptions, like you were saying earlier, are not the same. Like Dak and Goff threw someone, bad games, off, over the middle of the field. Like it's going to happen. Those guys, whatever. I still have faith in them over the course of the year. This is a guy that if you're like, hey, you can jump off the bandwagon right now, I think you'd have to lean that way. I guess it's possible to correct it. It feels like it would have to be a pretty hard correction on this player. Because the other thing is Jalen, people question like his arm strength and his path, but he did have like this guy played for Saban, then he went to Lincoln Riley.
That's right.
Gardner Minshew had already been a starter in the NFL. This guy has a very limited track record in college and the pros, and accuracy was a huge question mark. And the other thing you see is Jalen does have touch, like he's a great deep ball thrower down the sideline. This guy has no changeup. Everything is going at warp speed, and when everything's going at warp speed, it is very difficult to be considered an accurate quarterback. And the other thing is balls fly off guys' hands, go up in the air, and usually a safety is behind your offensive player. It's going to lead to a lot of – this guy could easily lead the league in interceptions this season. I would say he's the betting favorite.
Well, and as we talk Green Bay Colts, I think the one thing that I've really noticed is, you always have to be careful. The grass is always greener. And, Aaron's seeing it now. You go from Matt LaFleur to Nat Hackett. You go from the Packers always have a stable offensive line to the Jets kind of makeshift. You go from no owner, stability Mark Murphy, to the Jets' impulsive ownership. I think Matt LaFleur got a little lost because, McCarthy won a Super Bowl and then he takes over and he had some playoff struggles. And we always lump those on Matt LaFleur. That's why you're losing in the playoffs, Matt LaFleur. I got to tell you, I'm watching Jordan Love at the end of last year, and I'm watching Malik Willis today. And those guys are both talented. But even Jordan Love last year to start the season, John, was raw. Like he looked like he just wasn't quite. Jordan Love went from, really bad to like an MVP over the course of a season. Like you don't get an off season. You're in the middle of it. Malik Willis today, and maybe I'm making too much. That'll be the only game he starts. But I was like, shit, he's totally under control.
The other thing is this is not a player that was with them in OTAs and training camp. They traded for him at the end of the 53-man cutdown.
That's right.
You could argue through 2 weeks, the most impressive win of the season is Matt LaFleur winning a game with Malik Willis. That's an incredible accomplishment.
Incredible. And I think because they struggled last couple of years with Aaron in the playoffs, I think he took the hit on that. Yeah. But I always feel with Aaron, and this is not disrespectful to Aaron, but Aaron was going to blow him off on certain play. Aaron's going to do what Aaron wants to do. So it was a 50-50 offense. Aaron's coachable, but he was going to do what he wanted to do.
Matt wanted him to play under center in the Shanahan offense to give him a lot of layups. And Aaron fought against it because he loved being in the shotgun, like you said, and seeing everything. And they kind of met in the middle. And what happened? He started to win MVPs. Matt Ryan pushed against it early on because you turn your back. Once you get comfortable, it's shooting fish in a barrel for those type guys. But Aaron loved doing his thing in the shotgun. And now he can just run his offense. But today, he just to corral Malik Willis with probably less than 10 to 12 plays. It's just, I don't care how bad the Colts are on defense. What a win for the Packers.
I know. Huge win. I almost look at that Brazil game and I'm just like, okay, the youngest team in the league went to Brazil. They stayed like 2 hours away from the stadium. It's like, I don't even count that.
It just matters how quick is Jordan Love going to miss a month? Is he able to come back in a week? They kind of slow played us this week. Clearly he wasn't going to play, but is he closer to being ready next week or is he still a month away? Like if they can get him back in 2 or 3 weeks, and just go 500 with Malik Willis, they'd be off and running. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, they were like at the beginning of the season, I like them to be in the playoffs.
Former NFL scout. His podcast is 3 and Out. He's as good as they get. We crushed it, buddy. I'm going to go watch the Bears.
Same.